due to the collision of this particle with with another particle. That time, what is happening? These kind of things especially happen in the desert area, and because of frequent movement of air, that is wind, that is called very vigorous or aggressive stirring up. That time, this kind of dust particle has been taken into that air, which reducing the visibility and also which causes all respiratory related diseases to the human being. And many places in desert, and especially in the Sahara Desert in South Africa, when North Africa, when they have tested, whenever this kind of storm or we can say another term is where aggressive movement of airport where is more happening means which enter into the human lungs, they have checked the sand particle level in lungs. The quantity, whatever they have measured, it was shocked that, and many people affected by asthma due to this effect only in about the aerosol and sulfur dioxide, oxides of nitrogen, carbon monoxide. About everything we have discussed many things. Actually, what happened? Whatever the book I am using, they have changed the pages in between on. I think you people may also have the same thing. Okay, doesn't matter. Let me finish, then I will explain about the variable gases. I was thinking how it could be like this. Okay, no issue. After discussing all this polluted, then I will discuss about the variable gases, how it is varied in the atmosphere. Okay, let us think about the sulfur dioxide. We know that sulfur dioxide is one of the major air pollutant, not only in India, but throughout the world, which is discharged by the various sources, burning of all sort of fossil fuels, including biomass. But further, it involves in photochemical reaction, some other catalytic reaction in the atmosphere with the one atmospheric product or with other pollutant, and which form sulfur dioxide and trioxide. Both are oxides of sulfur. When the enough quantity of water molecule or moisture is available in the atmosphere, these oxides are converted into sulfuric acid. So which is nothing but sulfuric acid, which is nothing but acid rain. About the acid rain, I will explain in detail in the end of the second lesson. And this sulfur dioxide remains in the air for more than 2 to 4 days, sometimes 5 days also. During that time, this sulfur dioxide can be transported to more than 1,000 kilometers in the atmosphere itself before it is deposited into on the ground. What will happen that time? The harmful effect of this sulfur dioxide is it is deposited in the earth surface as in the form of sulfuric acid, that is acid rain, that will be affected in a particular place. That place might be far away from the source where it is generated. This is one of the international level big issue of release of sulfur dioxide, because wherever the people are using coal for burning, there the release of sulfur dioxide is more. Especially the country like China and India, China coal and Indian coal contain lot of sulfur. When we burn it, it releases huge quantity of sulfur dioxide, and we may not want to mention the name of the country affected. But in some developed countries, so also it thing is could not be very much overall from these two overall from these three sources are being the major contributor of sulfur dioxide into the air. And one more thing, we know that sulfur dioxide is irritant gas. When we smelling and unpleasant, sometimes which give irritation and which gives some sort of what we can say feeling to noise and discomfort. We feel to cough. How the smokers are feeling. That kind of effect which gives. But when they are present in the air at the concentration of 1 ppm level, which affect very severely on human being, animals, plant and everything. And various air pollutant, when we compared with this is one of the most damaging gas compared to other gaseous pollutant. The reason behind that, when the sulfur dioxide released, and there is a possibility to form sulfur trioxide in air, or sometimes both are released from the same source. When the concentration is at the level of 1 to 5% of sulfur dioxide, both combinedly involved in atmosphere, that forms sulfuric acid, I said, which has very low dew point. So it can be easily converted. And both the oxide can be removed atmosphere from the oxide form into liquid form by deposition. That is the rain, when the suitable condition is combined. But from that, the people are estimating that only from the effect of sulfur dioxide and sulfur trioxide, when it is retained in the atmosphere, after falling of sulfur acid, this effect will be less than the acid deposition. We are thinking that once it is converted into sulfuric acid, the sulfuric acid only gives more effect, we are telling. That also has effect. But when it is retaining the atmosphere as in the form of SO2 and SO3, that will be behaving like a catalytic center which convert many of the hydrocarbon into its respective compound or combine with the sulfur. That is not there in your book. That will be more severe than this. So the impact of presence of sulfur trioxide is more than the deposition of sulfuric acid on the cell surface. And almost everybody is having confirmed throughout the world. More than 90% of anthropogenic emission of, that means burning of fossil fuels over Europe, North America, India, which emissions sulfur dioxide were highest 77 metric tons of sulfur per annum. During the 1970s, they have estimated. But in the past after 1970, the emission of sulfur dioxide is considerably reduced throughout the world. That the reason behind that, they have changed the fuel usage pattern, and also they have introduced some controlling measures, and also they have reduced the sulfur content in the coal itself by following some of the process. When coal contain lot of sulfur, by cleaning and doing some of the pre-process with the fuel, with the coal, the sulfur can be reduced to some extent. And another method is, after forming the sulfur dioxide, it could be converted into calcium sulfate, that is called gypsum, by introducing lime on the exhaust of sulfur dioxide. Like that, they are introducing one or another process to reduce the accumulation or deposition of sulfur dioxide and trioxide in atmosphere. So because of that, there is a considerable reduction of sulfur dioxide in the atmosphere after 1970s. This is very important about sulfur dioxide. Okay, the next one is oxides of nitrogen. It is quite interesting because how the natural oxides of nitrogen is forming. I told you how the nitrogen cycle is forming. But natural atmospheric oxides of nitrogen are produced by the action of cosmic rays of the stratosphere, upper atmosphere only. Emission of these oxides of nitrogen from the man-made sources varies area to area, region to region. Where the industrial operation and the power plants are there, the emissions from the fossil fuels means than the rural area. And one more thing, oxides of nitrogen are emitted in different forms. Where it is in the form of NO, NO2, N2O, N2O3, N2O5, like that. There are different forms of nitrogen oxides are there. That's what people are telling, that instead of telling nitrogen dioxide, nitrogen trioxide, or pentoxide, nitrous oxide, they commonly denoted NOx. You can, all the 5 combination of the oxides of nitrogen will be indicated or informed through this NOx. Okay. Then, but among everything, the major pollutant are nitric oxide NO and the nitrogen dioxide NO2 only. Among the five, the major pollutant N2O, sorry, NO, nitric oxide NO and nitrogen dioxide NO2. But not only that process, the artificial fertilizer uses after application. You are using urea. Urea is what? It is carboxyl diamine. It is nitrogenous component. After, not only I am giving an example, urea is highly volatile compound. If you apply to the plant also, around 5 to 6% of the plant is taking. Remaining are vaporized into the air only. That is true. But along with the ammonia, urea, any other chemical or any other nitrogenous compound, if you are using as a artificial fertilizer, the remaining after application, which has not been drained from the field, that time what will happen? It will be removed from the field by denitrification process. This denitrification process contributes to higher level of NOx level in the atmosphere. That is, they are telling. This is only the reason or major reason to increase the NOx level in the atmosphere. That is the reports are saying like this. But many man-made activities like burning of all fossil fuels and that contributes around 50 ppm of oxides of nitrogen is contributed. And nuclear explosion, which is whatever natural nuclear explosion is another source of man-made anthropogenic activities of increasing of oxides of nitrogen in the atmosphere. And there is a anthropogenic impacts upon the global exchange of nitrogen. Of the global nitrogen cycle remains almost microbial only, not by another activity, any other activity. Some soil condition where whenever the oxygen level is low, which provide the anaerobic condition. This anaerobic condition favors the denitrification process, and this because of that, sometimes it happens the NO2 release into the atmosphere more, and whenever the soil is waterlogged or compacted, and at that time it is very comfortable for growth of all anaerobic microorganisms, which leads the denitrification process. That could be also reason. That's what people are doing to avoid this, or to cancel or removing the favorable condition for anaerobic bacteria to do this denitrification. People are practice the fluffing process. Because of this fluffing and the draining is to process, which decreases the favorability of growth of anaerobic microorganism in the soil. And another important air pollutant is carbon monoxide. This also I have explained much. Carbon monoxide is one of the most important, I can say, or most abundant gaseous pollutant, which emitted to the anthropogenic activities, that is burning of fossil fuels. And in atmosphere, the concentration of this is 0.05 gigaton per annum. It is increasing. And nowadays, the concentration might be more than that. These are all the information in 1970s, 80s, like that data. The carbon monoxide, I told you, it is a peculiar gas which can enter through our skin also. When it enters, it easily captures half molecule of oxygen from the air to make it as a saturated compound like CO2. That time, in our hemoglobin, that oxygen depletion will happen. Because of that, which creates bronchitis and asthma, I told you. We can't understand whether carbon monoxide is formed or not. It is little blue tinge will be there. We cannot say it is a colorless gas, but it is being accounted as a colorless gas, odorless gas, tasteless gas. Very small concentration of 0.1 ppm, it is there in the natural atmosphere also. It makes very big issue. If it has the residence time of a shelf life of around 6 months. And carbonaceous fuel, whenever it burned with less amount of air or oxygen, or it is combusted under non-ideal condition, then it provides or it makes or yields CO, carbon monoxide. Actually, during the combustion process, CO2 is supposed to be formed. But whenever we are providing the unsuitable condition or non-ideal condition for combustion, then CO is evolved. Then What are the favorable or variable conditions specifically knowingly or unknowingly happen? That time only the carbon monoxide formation is enhanced. Whenever the oxygen supply is less, whenever the flame temperature is less, and the gas residence time at the combustion chamber it is less at a high temperature, and the combustion chamber turbulence is less. Whenever these conditions are provided, the formation of carbon monoxide is increased. Again, I will tell you, whenever the oxygen supply is not sufficient or less, whenever the flame temperature is less or not sufficient, gas residence time at the combustion chamber at very high temperature is not sufficient, means then combustion chamber turbulence is less, means these are all the conditions favored to form the carbon monoxide when burning the fossil fuel, any form of fossil fuel. Then hydrocarbons. Hydrocarbons means from the name itself, we can understand which contain hydrogen carbon. And they didn't say oxygen, but oxygen also must be there in some type. For example, if we except alkane, other hydrocarbons are having like this. And this is one of the major chemical. And it is, if we are talking about the hydrocarbon, everyone mind will say that that is petrol and other petroleum products only, because that is major volatile hydrocarbon. There are, because of this petrol and petroleum product, many health hazards are coming, and they involved in photochemical reaction also. In the presence of sunlight, nitrogen dioxide, and even carbon dioxide, methane, hydrocarbon is anything, which gives undergo this extremely complex chain reaction in the presence of sunlight, that is called photochemical reaction. They produce many products. One of the major product is peroxyacetyl nitrate fan and ozone, and some formaldehyde, some aldehyde also comes out of this. And chief among all this reaction, the very worst chemical from this process is peroxyacetyl nitrate, which makes many reactions like a catalytic center, which proceeds many chain reaction in the atmosphere non-stoppingly, it continuously is going on like anything. And some of the plants, by naturally, it releases some hydrocarbons into the atmosphere. But whatever it may be, automobile industries or automobile emit the maximum amount of hydrocarbon into the atmosphere. And some industrial process like oil refineries, some chemical making industries like many, we have told commercially and laboratory grade chemical manufacturing companies are those industries are emitting some of the hydrocarbon into the atmosphere. But whatever it may be, the major source of the air pollution from the hydrocarbon is taken place from the automotive emissions only. The emission from the incomplete combustion or in combustion in car engine, along with the evaporative emission from the fuel tanks, corporates, and crankcases, and which contributes approximately 12 million tons per year. You just think about that. Whatever the method I said, these are all that we can say wastage or evaporative leakage, like that. Those sources only contributes around 12 million tons. We can't imagine at all. That much per year throughout the world it is emitting into the atmosphere. And human activities, approximately 20% of the hydrocarbon released every year. And animal means all herbaceous animal, which emits around 80 to 85 million tons. It is not very small amount. 80 to 85 means it is the highest amount of tons of methane to the atmosphere every year. So hydrocarbon means it is a very severe and poisonous chemical. When it present in the air, it will not affect us directly. When it, in the presence of sunlight, carbon dioxide, and oxides of nitrogen, which undergo many photochemical reaction, which produces many serious chemicals like peroxyacetyl nitrate and ozone in the atmosphere, those chemicals, when we expose it in different manner, that will cause, you know, how ozone will affect, like that effect will be there from the oxides of oxidized compound of all hydrocarbons. Okay. Then ammonia. When we are talking about the ammonia, it is a pungent smell gas, and it is a very important chemical for synthesis of fertilizer in fertilizer industry. And it could be also used in formation or synthesis of ammonium nitrate, plastics, explosive mean ammonium nitrate only, dyes and drugs. and it could be used as a refrigerant also, solid liquid ammonia, and emissions of ammonia from the biological degradation of protein from the amino acids into the atmosphere occurs very large scale, because we cannot understand when the biological degradation is happening, that is decomposition of any organic substances. Organic substances contain protein also. The protein is made up of amino acids, you know that. When that degradation occurs, which releases ammonia into the atmosphere, that is only contribute major score. This process is called ammonia volatilization. They will ask what is ammonia volatilization. Ammonia volatilization means which is nothing but the ammonia is emitted from the biological degradation of any proteins on soil surface into the atmosphere, which contributes large scale emission of okay. This is called ammonia volatilization. When compared this quantity or this contribution with the industrial contribution is negligible only. And atmospheric concentration of ammonia in temperate rural region range from 5 to 10 ppm. But it is in the near equator that whenever the temperature is high, the volatilization of any compound will be higher level. So in the near equator, it is more than the rural area. And in urban area, the high level of ammonia up to 280 ppm is removed wherever the industry is concentrated or any intensive agricultural process is taking place, where the removal of or exhaust of this ammonia is more due to this ammonia volatilization process. Okay. Another one is organic lead. The lead is introduced into the atmosphere by two different compounds. One is tetraethyl lead and another one is trimethyl lead. And this lead is introduced into the air or atmosphere where unburned condition or partially combust form. Now I am asking one question. Now you would have seen in every way, almost all the petrol bunk, if you look at that, means they would have written one term, unleaded petrol is available. Have you seen?
Yes,
Have
ma'am.
you? What does it mean? What does it mean? All that unleaded means why they are using, actually there are two things. And lead can be coming along with the petroleum product like other minerals. This is one of the heavy metal. In the petrol, it could be available as in the form of branch chemicals. If any product has a structured form, we cannot remove it. But if we are adding like an additive, it could be removed. Why people are using this tetraethylate and dimethyl lead, they are using this as a chemical as an anti-knocking agent in the vehicle. Got it? They are adding this chemical. Wantedly, we are using this chemical for anti-knocking property. But nowadays, by developing the industries engines, and they are maintaining the fuel quality in such a way, and they are maintaining the volatility in such a way, and the suspended particles blockage tank is reduced. So nowadays they are then anti-knocking property may not be there. So you can use unleaded petrol. But at the completely removed patient, what is the amount in 1960s and all, if you take the trace, the amount of the removal of this lead is less. What is the reason behind that? In developed countries, the number of use of vehicle is more. But in developing it, comparatively less. So when the number of vehicle is more, then they are using more quantity of tetraethyl lead and trimethyl lead as an anti-locking agent in vehicle. Uses more quantity in that. But nowadays, after introducing the new design of vehicle, and in the engine has been redesigned and which use low lead or unleaded fuels. Lead must be there from the product. The lead must be released into the atmosphere, but it has been reduced to some level by developing of or redesigning of engine in the vehicles. One more important information I wanted to say. After introducing this unleaded petrol, there is a significant reduction in lead entering into the atmosphere by airborne emission. That is, in developed countries, it is less. 1/10 of the highest overall total in the past. 1/10 means you just imagine. I said lead is not completely removed. It is removed to some level, which would be acceptable now. Before introducing or redesigning that engine, whatever the lead emitted into the atmosphere, after redesign the engine, it has been reduced to 1/10. But still it is there in the atmosphere. It is not good for, because lead is a heavy metal which affects the kidney directly. It won't attack here and there. Directly it will go and sit and it damages that particular part. So 1/10 means now itself we are in the pollutant country condition only. 10 times more means how much it could be, just imagine. That was our situation. So how many people would have been affected? How many people would have been died by this air pollution? And one more thing, yesterday I have read somewhere, India is in the 5th place at the death rate of by this air pollution. 5th place in the world. You just imagine how much it will. How many countries are there? Among the 180 countries you can take, in that we are in 5th place. Death rate of because of air pollution. Air pollution caused death rate, we are at the 5th place. This is not at all good for us, isn't it? That is the status of our technology. That is the status of our fuel usage. That is the status of our environment. But we are telling that we are living in a clean environment. We are not at all living in a clean environment. Okay, that is the real situation. We know that what is the smell of hydrogen sulfide? Have you smelled at any time hydrogen sulfide? It must be there in all the laboratory, in school also, colleges also, which gives rotten egg smell, which is highly unpleasant to smell it, isn't it? And which is disturbing and disturbing gas. If anywhere that smell is coming, people won't turn that side at all. And this is mainly introduced into the atmosphere, and the main source of this is industrial waste degradation and decomposition of stagnant water, swamp, and any bacterial action reduces sulfur compound into hydrogen sulfide. That time only it is releasing into the atmosphere. But the biggest problem of hydrogen sulfide, along with the rotten smell, it is highly insoluble in water. If it is soluble means they can solubilize it from one compound to another compound, they can convert, then the smell can be rejected or it can be removed. But it is highly insoluble in water. That is only the problem of controlling of this hydrogen sulfide. But it is little volatile in nature, so it could, once we heat it up means it could be removed. And from the decaying of any organic matter in the world, which emits 70 million tons of hydrogen sulfide, industrially, it is being released from the sewage treatment plant and petroleum industry. Any petroleum industries, it must be there. Because when the degradation, decomposition taking place in the underground, hydrogen sulfide must be released. Any decomposition process, anywhere it happens, even your vegetable, if you leave it at home, if you go, you went somewhere, after a week time, you come, that decomposition means it must be released. Hydrogen sulfide, but it little quantity, you cannot smell it more. It must be there, but it little. So wherever the decomposition takes place, from any organic substances, this hydrogen sulfide must be formed like methane and carbon dioxide. Okay. The next one is fluorides. Hydrogen fluoride is highly corrosive and irritant gas. The hydrogen fluoride is there. It is something like a hydrofluoric acid, which makes the corrosive. But how it is, when the concentration in the atmosphere till date, it is 0.05 milligram per meter cube of air only. Because of it is extreme toxicity, the hydrogen fluoride is wherever the process involving fluorides takes place, wherever the sulfide is forming. Otherwise, people are not using this chemical directly. And also where the production of phosphate fertilizers, smelting of certain iron ores, and manufacturing of aluminum, wherever these processes are taking place, there the release of hydrogen fluoride is there. Fluorine is a gas and it is highly reactive, but that does not occur naturally in the elemental form. It is always occurring in the form of some combination compound like hydrogen fluoride, fluoric acid, like that only. And some ores are containing for iron ores like fluorspar, cruelate, and certain appetites like that only available. That these are all the ores of some minerals like aluminum and phosphate and iron. Industrial emission are actually when it is coming out, it is formed as a various byproduct of fluoride, chlorofluorocarbon and sulfur fluoride, like that. Some derivative of fluorine only it will be available. You cannot find out fluorine separately. But in industrial emission, if you take, the significant natural background sources are whenever it is available, then only it will be involved in the process. It comes out from the industry. But the level of this fluorine compound, both air and water supply vary where it is very, we cannot say this much compound only. If other compound we are giving that this much will come, that much. People have estimated that the concentration is 0.0 milligram per meter cube in air, it is available. But in the rural area, this much, because of this industry, this much, that industry, this much, that, like that, we cannot estimate because these are all in the combined form. But anyhow, in rural area, the availability of fluorine is less or nil, we can say, when compared to the industrial area or wherever that mining of ore is taking place. And near phosphate fertilizer plant, aluminum melters or aluminum manufacturing industries, and wherever the vulcanize are happening, there the level maybe rises to 200 ppm that time. Actually, everybody is very simply thinking that fluorine may not be. Fluorine is one of the corrosive gas. If it enter into the human body at very less level also, which corrosive our body means all the organs, wherever, when, whatever they say, those sensitive organs will be affected. You please tell me, in our body, heart is sensitive or kidney is sensitive or liver is sensitive? Among the three, which one is the sensitive part towards the air pollution? So which one is the very softest part in the body? Heart, kidney or liver?
Heart.
Heart. Okay. That is more sensitive part you are telling. No, madam. Actually,
Kidney actually.
Kidney, because you know that people used to say whenever the water filtering system people have developed in the world till today, no filter system is equal to kidney filter. That filter is very minute filter, that is, but that is which contain millions of nephrons. But that is very sensitive for the nephron is very small nerves like kind of things. Heart is not a very softest part. It is really hard part. But because of our food habit, we are giving stress to the heart, then only it gives problem to us. Maximum is it tries its level to pump the oxygen to all the part of, even we are eating very chicken, mutton, ghee, this, that, what we are doing, how much we are working, we are not minding. But whatever it is available to take, it is here. The heart is fighting with us. You are eating means I also will pump enough. Okay, you eat, I will pump, like that. It is competitive with us. Many times that only succeeded. And sometime when it became tired, then only it stopped working. Then only the deposition started happening, then blockage, heart attack, this, that, everything. So it is not the softest part. It is really little tough. The very sensitive and the softest part is kidney only. Even people used to say, if you take the medicine for fever, any paracetamol, you have to drink enough water. Why they are telling? If you are not taking enough water, it will not be solubilized well. If it is not solubilized well, those are all the calcium carbonate related thing, and the hydrochlorate will be there. That's what that will be the solid part that will affect your kidney there. You have to take enough water to wash out. It is something like washing machine. You have the very good washing machine. If you are not pouring enough water, and the washing will not be good, isn't it? The soap will be with the cloth only. It will not be washed out properly. If you want to wash it properly, you have to pour enough water and supply enough water. So like that only kidney. If you drink more water, it wash out properly. Otherwise, it deposits. Over the period of the deposition is more, then it reduce its skills to cleaning or filtering it out. When it happens for many years, then it stops work. That is the causes. So like that, the fluorine is a very critical chemical, but in rural area it is not. But in very small quantities available in atmosphere also, it will be influenced with the food habit. It makes hectic problem. It cannot be recovered. That is only the problem of all air pollutant. The problem with air pollutant, something one or other thing will enter. Our body will have some resistance. If you do all exercises or do homework, it can be digested, it can be released in one or another way. If nothing is happening, we are sitting in the closed environment for quite a long time or lifelong, means we cannot blame. It will be affected one or another part. Another one is radon. Radon, which is nothing but, I think you only told me about the radon. Whatever you said is correct only. If anything more is there, I will tell you. The radon is produced from the uranium only. The uranium, which gives 27 different isotopes of radon. Among them, two important isotopes. In that, 222 radon, and among that, this is only one. 222 radon is only the important, that is also coming from the decay of 238 uranium. And this 222 radon also undergo radioactive decay, which produces radon daughters or further nuclear, what is that called? Radon nucleates. Those among them, they are listing 4 different radon daughters of isotopes. Among them, lead 210, bismuth 210, and lead 210. Among all these things, this lead 206 is non-radioactive. Other elements are radioactive. From uranium, which releases 27 different isotopes of radon. Among them, only one is important, that is radon 222. This radon 222 also gives radioactive nuclei, that is daughter of radon, which includes some of the radon along with the bismuth. Among them, the lead 206 is not radioactive, rest of them are radioactive. And other rest of the information I would have given in the previous classes. But the only thing is, we have to choose in such a way, when we are choosing the house, instead of low floor or lowest or ground floor building, which easily prone to the radon when compared to the higher level or upper floor building. Because radon easily enter into the ground floor through the air, dust, any storm is coming, it can be easily enter. And when we are walking and coming and going also, it is prone to the radon. But upper floors, which will have very, very less chance to enter into the house. And these are all about the aerosol particles or different type of particles of gaseous pollutant. And a few more things I missed out, I will take you. That is on variable gases. The variable gases means when the concentration is varied in the atmosphere, which will make or change the temperature and climates. For the climate change, these are all playing important role in the atmosphere. What are they? They are 4, 5 R gases: water vapor, methane, nitrous oxide, carbon dioxide, and ozone. We know that water vapor concentration in the atmosphere, it varies widely, spatially also, and temporally also, because find out near the equator and tropical cold polar region and the subtropical desert area, we cannot find out even a single drop of water where the concentration of water droplet is zero. We could say like this. So how we can, why it is important? Actually, major role in our life on the earth surface, which is only distributes or redistributes the heat energy throughout the earth surface through its latent heat of energy storage. Actually, I used to explain what is meant by latent heat of energy storage. I need to have the board. We cannot now. The whatever the amount of energy stored in water which could be released to the space, or whatever the system to be enclosed in water, that energy is called the latent heat. That through the latent heat distribution, it's distribute the energy throughout the earth's surface. And condensation of this water vapor only, which creates the precipitation, that is rainfall to the earth's surface, which provided, which only through that only we are getting the fresh water for entire living things on the earth's surface, and which also helps the warm the earth's surface to maintain the certain temperature for transferring of everything through the process of greenhouse effect. Actually, many people are, okay, now you please answer to me. Greenhouse effect is good or bad? Greenhouse effect is good or bad? Hey, no one is there or people are there? I am only speaking.
People are there, ma'am.
Okay, ma'am. Greenhouse effect is good or bad?
In one context, it is good only.
It is always good only. Okay, it does not have any negative. Without greenhouse effect, we will not have any energy on the earth's surface. If you don't have any surface, means there will not be mixing of particle. If there is no mixing of particles, means we cannot walk, talk, and whatever the mobile system, whatever the TV system cannot work. And there will not be any morning, evening, sunrise, sunset, nothing will be there. So greenhouse effect means it is a effect through that the earth surface is getting energy from the sunlight. We are getting infrared radiation that is redistributed throughout the air by some atmospheric gases. This is essential. Otherwise, we won't get any temperature. We won't get any heat. Then we have to live like a polar region people only. Got it? So greenhouse effect is important. Through that, when it has happened, when the greenhouse has effect happening, through that many unwanted gas enter into the atmosphere. Because of that, the atmosphere temperature is increased globally. That's what that is called global warming. The effect is good because of the effect, some other things introduced by human being, that is the culprit us only. Because of us, or we introduce something into the atmosphere, then the temperature has increased globally. That is called global warming. That is bad thing. But without greenhouse effect, no living things on the earth's surface. We cannot get any energy. If you want to get the energy has to be distributed or redistributed through the process of greenhouse effect only. Okay. Okay, the next atmosphere pollutant is carbon dioxide. This plays in the fifth important place in the greenhouse gases. Volume of this gas is increased around 35% over the last 300 years, they are telling. It might be more than that nowadays. And the concentration of this carbon dioxide concentration increase in air, only the reason is fossil fuel burning, deforestation, and other form of land use changes. Carbon dioxide is very, very important greenhouse gas, and this is plays an important role for photosynthesis also. But human cost increase in the concentration of atmosphere is strengthened, and greenhouse effect has definitely contributed to the global warming over the past last 100 years. So it in this carbon dioxide play naturally exchange between the atmosphere and the life through the process of photosynthesis and the respiration. We know that, but when the human being introduced huge quantity of carbon dioxide into the atmosphere, which became a poison gas. Otherwise, this is not at all. Okay. Then about the methane, about the methane, many quite interesting informations are there. I will tell. One of the interesting information is because which absorbs lot of heat. The reason behind that, since 1750, the concentration of methane is being increased more than 150%. It is not very small. What is the source for increase of this methane is, if I say you people will be shocked. The main reason for this cultivation of paddy only. Without paddy, can we survive? No. But the cultivation of paddy increases the concentration of atmospheric methane. And followed by in that importance of releasing of these gases, domestic grazing animals, whatever the domestic grazing animal we are growing at home, termites, landfills, coal mining, these are all natural process. Coal mining and oil and gas extraction, these are all the process everywhere happen. But whatever the anaerobic condition associated with the rice paddy cultivation, because how the paddy cultivation field looks, anyone can tell me? Paddy cultivation means what? The paddy people are cultivating, always it's supposed to be watered. Water must be there in paddy. And that the plants are growing very closely. The sunlight may not be entered into the bottom of the plant. So whenever the water is available without the sunlight, then there is a condition of anaerobic environment. This anaerobic condition associated with the flooding, that is water is available everywhere, which is favor to the formation of methane in the paddy field. So the scientists, they cannot provide the exact data of how much methane is produced from the paddy field, but around 60% of concentration of methane from the China and India, which contribute from the paddy field only, that they have. It is not a hypothesis; it is a prediction, I should say. And nevertheless, they believe that the contribution of paddy is large because the form of crop production has more than doubled after independence. So if it is doubled, means the release of methane also, how many folds it is increased, we do not know. Grazing animals release methane while taking the digestion process. And some researchers believe that the methane is released from the this grazing animal must be quartered to the last. This is prediction, not findings. Termites also release methane, and land use changes. We know that it must be released because deforestation process, land use changes, ranching, farming. These are all the important source for release of methane. And along with everything, the contribution from the insects may be important. I do not know how it is contributing, but insects also very important. They are telling what is the source. Even if we take consideration of digestion also not must be much, but they are telling that this is one of the important reason. Methane is also released from the landfill wherever the decomposition taking place, coal mines, gas and oil drilling. Landfill also reduces during the decomposition process. And whatever the deposits, their coal, oil or natural gas, when the people are taking the excavation or drilling process, that time also it releases methane. But whatever it may be the sources, wherever the fossil fuel related process are taking place, that is drilling, mining, extraction, processing, storing, transportation, distribution, everywhere the release of methane must be there. termites are releasing, insects are releasing, fossil fuel burnings are increasing, grazing animals are increasing, and anything else is there? Everything, land use changes, deforestation, that and all increasing. But among everything, the major contribution from the paddy cultivation only. And the country like China and India, we are depend more on the paddy cultivation for our food habit. So more than before our independence, it was 60% means now the production population is increased in many fold. Then many fold the production supposed to be increased. Then how many folds methane could be released into the atmosphere? We can interpolate it. So this is about the methane. This is one of the important greenhouse gas in the atmosphere. Okay, but methane could be the fuel. Methane could be is serving many purposes. But when the presence of sunlight, this methane, oxides of nitrogen, carbon dioxide, these three undergo photochemical reaction, photochemical chain reaction, which produces many chemical compound, as I told you when I have explained about the hydrocarbon. So this is poisonous gas or useful gas or useless gas. It's a very good fuel with less emission of carbon dioxide when compared to other fossil fuels because it contains only one carbon. And with many advantages, it could be that then only it was naming it as a natural gas. Naturally formed, we combinedly we can form also large quantity we cannot form. And which contain lot of energy around 5,500 kilocalories per meter cube of gas. So many positive the properties which has, even then it could be the greenhouse gas. Okay. And the last one, the next one is when we are talking about the oxides of nitrogen. And oxides of nitrogen, it is one of the greenhouse gas only, but the concentration of this in the atmosphere 0.2 to 0.3%, it is increasing at that rate only per year. Because as I told you that it forms at very high temperature. Greenhouse effect of this nitrous oxide and fertilization in the ecosystem, which leads eutrophication and the death of forest, and especially it makes some species exclusives also. That means once it is endangered, we cannot get back that same pieces. And the sources for the increase of oxides of nitrogen in the atmosphere, mainly due to the fossil fuel combustion, biomass burning, land use changes, and deforestation process, and soil fertilization. Many things are there. But the main source people have accounted that deforestation process and the conversion of forest, savanna, grasslands, ecosystem into the agricultural field or rain field. When these are all happening, which reduces the amount of nitrogen stored in the living vegetation and the soil also through the decomposition of organic matter. So this is the major reason. And also, it is released into the atmosphere through division to the increase of these gases atmosphere. Increases the concentration of nitrogen, nitrate, oxides of nitrogen in the atmosphere by adding ammonium fertilizer into the plant. That the ammonium nitrate means which provides the growth only to the plant, which may not increase the yield only for the growth. And how much from this process the scientists cannot be estimated because some people are using ammonium nitrate, some people are using ammonium related fertilizer like urea. Urea has been taken up by plant only 5%. How much it could be? So the estimation and giving exact answer of this is very difficult. And the contribution from the estimates assess the contribution from this sources represent approximately 50% to 0.2% nitrous oxide added to the atmosphere annually. But it is not exact, I could say. Okay. Then ozone. About the ozone, anyone can explain? What do you know? You please open up. No one is talking. Everyone is keeping quiet. So, any one of you please open your mouth. Any one of you can tell about ozone at least. I am only talking. What is ozone? You only have to talk if people are telling or what? What is ozone? So, what is the formula of ozone? What is the chemical formula of ozone? Hey, people?
Okay.
O3, at least. Okay, somebody is awake. Thank you. Okay, ozone role in the actually, we are telling that ozone is also one of the greenhouse gas. But the impact or effect of ozone on the atmosphere is difficult to understand. You know that because if you take the history of ozone, we must know this was the concentration of ozone in the atmosphere. Now it has been reduced to this much, or one or other reason we should tell. There is no information about before 50 years, before 100 years, how much ozone was there. Then we can compare it with the present value. Then we can come into the picture. This much is depleted, or this much is there. Something one or other thing we can put answer. So no data is available about the ozone to compare. So this could be the reason scientists could not be able to give any information about the ozone or impact of ozone on the environment. It is very difficult to say. But the concentration of ozone is too much in two different regions of the Earth's surface. One is at the stratospheric region, and another one is near the Earth's surface. The stratospheric ozone, we know that which behaves like a blanket, which provide, or we can say which help us to help as which protect us from the ultraviolet radiation which emits from the sun, and which filter it up and only send infrared radiation which is not harmful to us. Only ultraviolet radiation is harmful. That is being filtered it out by this ozone layer only. So we can say it is a very good friend of us. It serves us like anything. No one could do. At the same time, if any man-made ozone is there near Earth's surface by human activity, by release of some chemical in the atmosphere, by photochemical reaction, it formed mean those ozones are very harmful to the human. So that is the difference of what is naturally existing and what is human-made. And many people are telling that inside 1970, and they have noticed that there is a considerable size of ozone hole is developed in Antarctica. And they are giving some reason for that. 60° north to 65° north to 65° south, they included. 3% decrease in atmospheric or stratospheric ozone is being found out in 1978, they are telling. For your kind information, please listen me carefully, every one of you. I have read one article during the lockdown period. The article is released by NASA. They have made some study during this time. They have told that there is no hole in the ozone. It is being closed. Then they have given the reason that during that lockdown when there is no release of atmospheric pollutant in the form of carbon dioxide, methane, and oxides of nitrogen. So there will not be any photochemical reaction. It won't be, the temperature may not be increased globally. So global warming would have not been happened. Because of that, already the broken ozone hole is being blocked. They have told that reason. But the reason may be true or not true, doesn't matter. But they have clearly circulated that article. There is no hole in ozone layer. That's what they said. That is happening in 2020. I hope 20 or 21. Actually, I told to somebody in your classmates only in the class. If I have that article, I thought of circulate to you people. I couldn't find out. Once I find out anywhere, I will forward through the common WhatsApp to all the set. 3-4 set people of people WhatsApp group is with us. For everyone, I will circulate if I find out. Okay, that is very good information. So be happy. And whatever the diseases we are having related to skin cancer, melanoma, this, that, X, Y, Z, and all. Everything is forming because of human made things. Because many people are using ultraviolet for laboratory purpose. Even if it is available in the hospital also, all research institute, even small level, they are using in bakery also to kill the insect. In even nowadays, it is available filter, all white color bulb. Everything is having ultraviolet. We are exposing to the light, nothing will happen to us. But the same ultraviolet radiation, the concentration little intense means it affect us. That is the point. Okay. Okay. Then ozone is also highly concentrated on the Earth's surface, in and around the Earth's surface. Most of the ozone is created by the product of human-created photochemical smog, which builds this ozone in the Earth's surface, which affects or with this ozone must be toxic to the living organism on the Earth's surface. Got it? So these are all the variable compound. Variable gases, compound or gases, water vapor, methane, carbon dioxide, oxide of nitrogen, and ozone. These 5 components are playing major role in the through greenhouse effect for global warming. Because of that only climate change is coming. Got it? So I have discussed about the permanent gases. Permanent gases are oxygen and carbon dioxide along with the inert gases. Similarly, I have those are not responsible or not affect the climate change or global warming. Only variable gases are causing this climate change through greenhouse effect. What are the gases I have discussed? And what are the properties of air pollutant I have said? And the properties, physiochemical characteristics, when we have discussed, we have start from the particulates. And particulates are being classified into different types based on the size and the source. And that we have continued with the different pollutant like aerosols, sulfur dioxide, oxides of nitrogen, ammonia, lead, hydrocarbons, hydrogen fluoride, radon, ammonia, lead, and everything we have seen. Then now I am going to discuss about what is the structure of atmosphere. Okay. When the composition of the atmosphere is varied when the vertical increase in height. Vertically, if you increase the height from the Earth's atmosphere, and that composition of atmosphere is little changed. According to this, the Earth atmosphere is being classified into 2 different layers. One is homosphere, another one is heterosphere. You can look at all this information in your slides. Homosphere means the height is from 80 kilometer. That is called homosphere, where all the permanent components of the gases are uniform. Heterospheres being more than 80 kilometer from their surface, they are called heterosphere. And there the heavier gases started deplete. And what will happen? The lighter gas component started occur. And what is the lighter component? Nitrogen, atomic oxygen, atomic helium, atomic hydrogen, and the molecular nitrogen. They are all those components started appear when the height goes up. And again, the Earth atmosphere is being classified or identified based on the vertical structure that is shown in the next slide. You please look at that. According to that, it is being identified 4 different layers. One is troposphere, second one is stratosphere, third one is mesosphere, and the fourth one is ionosphere or thermosphere. You look at the diagram, and that x-axis is temperature, y-axis is altitude. According to the height and temperature and altitude, how the layer is being distinguished, we'll see. The first bottommost layer, the height from the 0 to 10 kilometer from the Earth's surface is called the troposphere. In the troposphere, when the height is increasing, means the temperature started decreasing. You can see here the temperature is started decreasing. When it is decreased from the positive range to negative range, you could see from the graph, the temperature decreases at the rate of 6.5 degrees centigrade per kilometer height. This is happening due to the adiabatic cooling. Adiabatic cooling is a process Where the temperature change is occurring, there will not be cooling or heating. Okay. And there the strong vertical mixing is happening. Then the mixing is happening means there must be living things. There must be enough energy, enough mass should be there. Almost all atmospheric water molecule must be there. This layer is called weather layer. And slightly will increase the height from 10 to 50 kilometers. That layer is called the stratosphere. The in-between layer between the troposphere and the stratosphere is called the tropopause. In that, temperature inversion is taking place. That means in the troposphere, what is happening? When the height increases, temperature starts to increase. So from the positive range to negative range is happening. From the troposphere, again the temperature started increase towards the stratosphere. That particular place where the temperature inversion is taking place, that is called cold trap. That is very cold place, one of the cold place in the atmosphere. Then above that, stratosphere starts from 10 to 50 kilometers, where when the height increases, the temperature started increases. Here, the ozone is, atmospheric ozone is presented. We know that the role of ozone is which absorb the ultraviolet radiation and it filter its radiation. It allows to pass only the infrared radiation which we are receiving. Because of absorption of ultraviolet radiation, the temperature of that particular region is started increases. That's what the stratospheric layer is. Temperature is keep on increasing due to the absorption of UV radiation. And temperature inversion is taking here also. Here it is very stable layer. There is vertical mixing is not happening. And water molecule started decreases. And energy is not much. And atmospheric mass also started decreases. And the next layer we can call that height from the 50 to 80 kilometers is called the mesosphere. This is middle layer. In between the stratosphere and mesosphere, the point is called this stratopause. The stratopause is nothing but the upper layer of the mesosphere. Here also the temperature inversion is taking place. And in the mesosphere, the temperatures decreases again with the height of atmosphere. And almost only adiabatic process is taking place here. And the upper part of this coldest part of the atmosphere and the mesosphere is there between the thermosphere and mesosphere. This is second cold drop. This is the extremely cold region in the atmosphere. This is boundary between the mesosphere and thermosphere. And here also temperature inversion is taking place. And the topmost layer is called thermosphere. Above 90 kilometers, there is no limit of height. There is no defined upper end for this layer. Here, strong temperature increase with the height and temperature inversion due to the absorption of UV radiation directly from the sun by oxygen and nitrogen. And extremely very thin layer, this is where temperature is very high, almost no mass, no constant energy flow, nothing is there in that. That is the topmost layer of atmosphere. This is that structure of atmosphere. Okay. Now, almost I have covered everything. Now I am going to ask you people, what is the definition of air pollution? Any one of you can define what is the definition of air pollution? Hello? I'm asking any wrong question. Okay, if it is wrong, then I myself will answer. You should know what is the definition of air pollution. I will define from your book, not by my own. The imbalanced air quality of air, so it is there in your book, in your slide. The imbalance in quality of air source to cause adverse effect on the living organism existing on the earth. This is one definition people have given. According to the WHO, World Health Organization, they have defined in different way. The limited to situation in which the outer ambient atmosphere contain material in concentration which are harmful to man and his environment. This is a definition made by WHO. Different people are defined in different way. You can read your book also. One more definition is there. And classification of pollutant. Classification of pollutant, already I have explained some of the things. This classification is very, very important. This question many times repeatedly came. What I'm going to tell, please listen me. We know that by the air pollutant are formed in the atmosphere by natural process and man-made process, that we are all very clear about it. The natural process are called dust storms, volcanic eruption, human activities is emission from the anthropogenic sources, and fuel combustion, industrial activities, many things, whatever I have told earlier. The pollutant are released from the source directly means those pollutant are called primary pollutant. Okay. The pollutant are directly emitted from the source, they are called primary pollutant. And the primary pollutant are react with one another or with the basic component of the atmosphere, chemically or photochemically, whatever it may be, it form a pollutant. Those are all called secondary pollutant. So basically the pollutant are categorized or classified into two types. One is primary air pollutant, second one is secondary air pollutant. Primary air pollutant means the pollutant which are emitting from the source directly and they are churning air into the troposphere or stratosphere. They are called primary pollutant. The primary pollutant are reacting with the other primary pollutant or atmospheric component, chemically or photochemically or catalytically also sometimes. Those are all produced in the new pollutant. They are called secondary pollutant. The primary pollutant, we know the carbon dioxide, carbon monoxide, sulfur dioxide, everything. Secondary pollutant, you can say this peroxyacetyl nitrate, ozone, aldehyde, hydrocarbon combined form. Those are all the chemicals, acid rain. Those it forms such a complex compound. They are called secondary pollutant. Okay. So this is about the classification of pollutant. Now, almost I have completed the first lesson. Now I am asking you people that if you have any doubt now, you can ask me. Now you please answer to me one question. The primary pollutants are harmful, more harmful, or the secondary pollutants are more harmful? Raki ma'am, the time is up.
Time is up, ma'am. Time up, ma'am. Hello. Hello.
Time is up or time is the class time?
Time up, ma'am.
Hello. Any one of you could answer?